And that attack that he's bringing is one where, my response, and I know Tim Walz's response is, come and get us, because everything you're saying is a lie.
So there is the governor of the state of Illinois, Mr. No Kings himself, running for a third term in the state of Illinois. Somebody explain that to me. I just fail to understand why JB Pritzker gets 3 terms, but the left melts into themselves when Donald Trump even jokes about a third term. Now, see, the leftists listening right now are like, she thinks he's going to run for a third term. No, I don't want JB Pritzker to have a third term. I want somebody to beat him, and I want him to get beaten in the polls really, really bad. And if you listen to JB Pritzker there, he considers himself one and the same with Governor Tim Walz. That's from the man himself. Well, let's talk to somebody who maybe just might get that Republican nomination to take JB Pritzker on in this November. His name is Ted Dabrowski, Republican candidate for governor of Illinois, president of WirePoints, previously vice president of policy and spokesman for the Illinois Policy Institute. The website is tedforillinois.com, but let's talk to the man himself. Ted, thank you for being in here. Such a pleasure to meet you.
It's great to be here. I love being here, so let's go.
Yeah. JB Pritzker says he's being attacked by President Trump for just doing his job. Well, how would you define the job that JB Pritzker has done in 2 terms?
Well, let's talk about the one in particular right now. He's saying he's doing his job of being defiant of federal law. He's calling federal law enforcement jackbooted thugs and Nazis and terrorists and racists. He's attacking our federal law enforcement. And what he's doing is he supports these sanctuary state laws. He's supporting these illegal criminals being here. He's not handing over the criminals directly to federal law enforcement. Instead, his policies that he supports are letting those criminals back out. It's forcing ICE to chase them, and it's creating big chaos. And Pritzker's also, fomenting the people to go take on the federal law enforcement. So he's not doing his job. I think the kind of job Pritzker's doing right now on that alone should disqualify him from office.
I completely agree with that. Ted Dabrowski in studio with us, one of the leading candidates for the Republican nomination for governor for this November. We get to maybe pick a different governor. Everybody's interested. I know you are. Before we move on from the issue of, immigration enforcement, sanctuary city status, and all of that, it chaps me so much to listen to the way the Tim Walz's and the JB Pritzkers talk about this. But when I'm discussing immigration issues with my moderate to even leftist friends who live in the state of Illinois, they always say things like, go get the violent criminals that are here. Go get the people. But if you're just here, if you just came across the border and you haven't, and you're paying your taxes and you're living your life, can we just focus on the violent criminals? Explain to me why JB Pritzker's sanctuary state and sanctuary city statuses make it so that ICE has to function where they go into the communities and not to where the violent criminals should be, which is jail.
Yeah. Well, here's the easy comparison. So in Florida, in Tennessee, in Indiana, their laws mandate that local law enforcement turn over bad guys to the federal authorities. We do the exact opposite, right? We have the sanctuary state law, and that law says our local enforcement cannot. They're prohibited from handing over the bad guys. Prohibited, right? So here you are. Why are we that state? Why are we? And so what that happens is criminals know that. Criminals know that they're not going to be handed over to federal authorities. So guess who's going to be a sanctuary, not just for illegal immigrants, but for illegal immigrant criminals.
Right.
And that's the problem. We should be like Indiana. We should be like Tennessee. We should be like Illinois and just hand over the bad guys.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And it's one of the things that frustrates me so much because they've created a problem that it's their baby that they've established here, and now they're profiting on both ends.
Exactly.
It's a lie.
And it's a defiance against Trump rather than doing the right thing for the people of Illinois. And listen, if ICE doesn't go get those criminals, who's going to get them? Right? Is the media going to go get them? So they're out there roaming, and we've seen sad stories after sad story of crimes being committed by illegal immigrant criminals.
Yes, the recidivism is appalling, and there's no common sense to us. You said it right there. It's an immediate reaction to everything Trump. Mm-hmm. JB Pritzker is governing the state of Illinois to oppose Donald Trump in the next election, the presidential election that Donald Trump's not even going to be in. I want to shift gears here a little bit, and I want to talk about fraud, because everybody is now pivoting their attention to Minnesota. The amount of fraud that exists in Minnesota is jaw-dropping. Every day it seems like we find new fraud. And we're talking about billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars potentially wrapped up in that. Ted Dabrowski, you're running for governor. What do you, as somebody who has been paying attention to the dollars and cents of the state of Illinois forever?
Yeah, for more than 15 years, yeah.
What do you think about the existence of fraud here in the state of Illinois?
Well, let's be clear. We've had a lot of fraud, right? We had $5 billion in unemployment insurance claims. $5 billion have disappeared. We've seen the PPP fraud that we've had in the state. Some state workers have even participated in that. We've got Madigan. We've got Ed Berg from Chicago. We've got Sandoval, who is the big transportation guy. We have corruption, right? And so you have to ask the question, with all this federal money that came through COVID and just ballooned all kinds of spending in Illinois in particular, just like in Minnesota, you have to ask the question, do we have those same problems? I actually had a press conference in Chicago, had some of the media there, Chicago Tribune was there, and I showed how the money, and I've been doing Doge type work for 15 years.
Before Doge was
Doge.
Yeah.
And so I had a press conference, and I showed how money to some of these line items have just ballooned compared to the regular growth in the budget. They've ballooned. Like, you better have your eyes on them and figure out where the money's going. And instead of the Tribune and others joining me and saying, let's at least have Pritzker defend the spending and just do the audit and tell people, hey, we're okay in Illinois. We're not like Minnesota. That's what we should be asking of Pritzker. But no, instead they're covering it up. And I don't know if there's fraud there or not, but I tell you the growth in spending has been phenomenal in things like home care services, child care services. It should be audited. And if it's good, then we're fine. But if it's not, we should be putting a lot of attention on it.
If you, Ted Dabrowski, win the Republican primary that's happening March 17th, is that
March
correct?
17th, that's right.
March 17th is when you get to vote and pick your candidate, choose your horse. If you are on that ballot in November, is it a certainty or it's a likelihood? JB Pritzker wants a progressive income tax for the state of Illinois. So while we're talking about the likely existence of fraud in the state of Illinois, they're also likely going to be asking for more of our money.
Oh, absolutely.
How quickly as governor, should you win, how quickly as governor could you root out fraud, get rid of it without having to have your supermajority of Democrats in the General Assembly help you?
It's like you said, it's what I've been doing. I know where the numbers are. I know where the bloat is. For example, in administration spending in universities, in K through 12, CTA, I've been covering that for a long time. So for me, controlling the departments will be really easy. I will expose the heck out of it. That has to be goal number one. Look, we're spending the most in property taxes in the country. We're number 2 in gas taxes. We're number 1 in cell phone taxes.
Do those all? Who passed all those, and how recent are all those?
Well, so Pritzker doubled the motor fuel tax. So Pritzker doubled the motor fuel tax. We're in the middle of the country. Boom, we're now number 2. We were number 2 in property taxes before Pritzker. Now we're number 1. He's done nothing to control that. Of course, he bailed out the CTA, took all the money from downstate in southern Illinois and gave it to the Chicago Transit Authority. So now we have the highest sales taxes in the country in Chicago right now. So tax after tax after tax is going up. So we have a big opportunity to stop this and try to reverse it.
Ted Dabrowski, we're downstate Illinoisers, so I would like to think that we're much more conservative than Chicago is, but obviously you got to win Chicago. What are Chicago voters, Republican and Democrat, what are they saying to you is their top concern, and how do you address it?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Southern Illinois, Central Illinois, Chicago, it's property taxes.
Okay.
They were burning their property tax bills in the west side of Chicago. This is a poor area. And their property taxes in some places doubled, right? And down there, it's not big numbers relatively, but they doubled from $2,000 to $4,000. You're talking about a poor community. You take $2,000 more dollars from their budgets.
We'd all feel it.
Yeah,
we all do feel it.
Yeah, that's why they're burning their bills. So that's number 1 by far.
Okay.
I think to myself about what it would mean to have JB Pritzker gone. I mean, maybe if you were to win. If the Republican were to beat JB Pritzker in November, you'd pull maybe a few Republicans up, but there's nothing changed in the last election that we had. What did Donald Trump get? 44%?
44%. Yeah.
44% of the state of Illinois voted for Donald Trump. Nobody in the rest of this great union thinks that 44% of Illinois is Republican. That people would be blown, their minds would be blown by the idea that 44% of Illinois would vote for Donald Trump. I think it's also important to, 66% of the population is in Cook County? something-ish.
Yeah, 7.5 million people. Yeah, so
a third of the state exists outside of Cook County, which is why we downstaters get a little frustrated that we go the way of Cook County, we go the way of Chicago. There has to be a coming together of Cook County Republicans, not a huge percentage of them, maybe 24 or 25% of Cook County decides to support you, Ted Dabrowski, joins the rest of Southern Illinois that's got to show up to the polls to make a difference. How do you pull all of that together? That's a huge spectrum of Republican voter.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I'm running, though. I supported Darren Bailey last time, strongly supported him. He's a good man, but unfortunately he fell 12 percentage points short, overall. But in Cook and in the suburbs, he fell behind by about 35 percentage points. Really tough for him to do well up there. So whoever wants to beat Pritzker, and that's my pitch for my own campaign. I'm the one that can get enough votes up in that area. I'm from that area. My running mate is from up there as well. And we've got to get enough votes there so that when you add them to the central and southern Illinois vote, we can beat Pritzker. And I think we can. I think Pritzker's vulnerable. He's gone so extreme. The supermajorities are so extreme that there's enough Cook County and suburb people going, third term, I think we're tired of Pritzker. Now, but they need to find an organized opposition that can build a coalition, and that's what we're trying to build at the Dabrowski campaign.
We're speaking with Ted Dabrowski. Would you stay for one more quick segment?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, let's keep it here because when we come back, I'm going to give you a commercial break to think about this question. What do you have to compromise to your downstate Republican voters in order to get the Cook County voters?
Alrighty.
You think on that and give me an answer when we come back. You're listening to Ted Dabrowski here in studio on the Annie Frey Show. TedForIllinois.com. Go learn more about him. He's a numbers guy. He's been in the numbers, like you said, Doge before Doge was Doge for the state of Illinois. And he wants to earn your vote in the March 17th Republican primary in the state of Illinois. We'll talk more with Ted Dabrowski next. Don't go away.
He was. Yes, he was.
Civia Law, Todd Civia of Civia Law. He services both sides of the river here, Missouri and Illinois alike. Quite a few offices, certainly on the Illinois side. So if you're listening right now to our interview with Mr. Dabrowski and you're thinking you need an estate attorney, Todd Civia here is capable of helping you, even if it's just an initial conversation. Now, if you call 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL right now, and you book a strategy session, that's where you're going to sit down with Todd Civia. You're going to talk about, here's what we would like to do. We'd like to do a will. Do I need to do a trust? I don't know. He's going to explain why you might want to do one thing over the other and have that conversation. That's initially a $300 strategy session sit-down fee. When you call right now to 833-995-WILL, he's going to waive that fee when you mention my name. So reach out to Todd Civia and start talking to him so he can help you through those life's transitions. They're difficult, but when you have a plan, when you are prepared, you can manage those transitionary periods in your life with a lot more peace, with a lot more ease, knowing that you took care of business with somebody who knows how to help you. 833-995-WILL. Call him, mention my name, and be the first 10 people to call right now, and you'll get that free strategy session, civialaw.com.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
Hi, it's Mark Cox inviting you to join me September 30th as we discover the charm of Switzerland, Austria, and Germany with Colette Travel. Spend 4 nights in Bern and then 4 nights at the foot of the Alps in Innsbruck. From the cobblestone streets to the postcard-worthy mountain landscapes of the amazing Alps, we're going to explore the Swiss capital of Bern and lovely Lucerne, the Swiss paradise on the lake. We'll travel the Austrian countryside to Salzburg with a visit to Mozart's birthplace and then Mirabelle Gardens featured in The Sound of Music. This and so much more. Colette handles all the details. The flights, the meals, the hotels, the local experiences. All you have to do is have the time of your life. Don't miss this trip. Meet me and the folks from Colette to learn more at the Lodge at Des Peres, Tuesday, February 24th at 2 p.m. Call Colette at 800-581-8942 or go to 971talk.com/events for details.
97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Okay, so we're standing in here in the studio with Ted Dabrowski. He's the Republican candidate for governor of Illinois. We've had several other candidates for governor here on the show in studio, and we're excited to finally have Ted in here with us to answer some of my questions, some of your questions as well. You can go to tedforillinois.com. Very simple website to remember there. He's the president of WirePoints, previously the vice president of policy and spokesman for the Illinois Policy Institute. He's been on the show many times back before I was on middays and on the weekends. I've enjoyed many conversations with Ted about the numbers and dollars and cents and lack of sense in the state of Illinois, we'll put it that way. So, Ted, going into the break, I said I was going to ask you this question, and I want to open this conversation with you. I think that people don't – I question it myself because I don't know the Republican voter in Cook County the way I know the gun-toting, tax-hating, leave me alone, I'd like to live on my own without any sort of, interference of the government, Southern Illinois Republican voter. Who is the Cook County voter that you need to earn in order to win the primary, but ultimately to beat JB Pritzker? And what do you have to compromise to earn that Cook County voter that's going to be an ask of the Southern Illinois voter to continue to support you?
I'll answer the first part quickly. I don't think I need to compromise anything. Look, Pritzker got 54.9% of the vote last time. Despite all that spending, despite the fact that Bailey didn't do well, he only got 54.9. So since that election, you've had the Trump election, which showed a lot of people moving over towards Republicans. Right? He got 44% of the vote. Trump did without spending any money. And you've had the illegal immigration crisis. You've had the gerrymandering exposure. You've had the crime exposure. So I think that Chicagoans in Cook County, look, they're hurting on the same things: high property taxes, high everything. The other thing that they have is crime. They are just, right, they're hit with the crime. And so I think there's enough people, and here, let me add one more thing. I think that the lack of, or the stealing of parental control by the Democrats and Pritzker's laws, where over parents' control over their children, I think there's enough of a coalition to be built of the people who support the same kitchen table issues we care about. But you add those things to them, we can cobble together a 50% plus one. So there's a black community who's really upset about how illegal immigrants were prioritized over them. That's one. I think Latinos, we'll have to see how it's all playing out with ICE, but I think there's enough of them coming our way. And then, of course, these suburban moms who say, I want my control back. And Pritzker fatigued for third term. He's gone so far left to run for president. There's enough people there that we can just bring them in. But what we can't do is tick them off, right? We can't call Chicago names. We can't denigrate Chicago. We have to say, hey, we want Chicago to participate in the growth. We need Central Illinois to participate in the growth. We need Southern Illinois to participate in the growth. We need to come together as a state. This is an amazing state. We should be a top 5 state in this country.
Amen. We've got it all, and we're perfectly located in the country to be an incredible competitor, top to bottom across the board. Let me flip the question for you. What do you have to ask the Chicago voter to support with you in order to make sure that you don't lose the Southern Illinois voter?
Yeah, no, I think the Chicago voter, when we talk about the black community being so upset about the $2 billion that have been spent just on health care alone for illegal immigrants.
Yes.
They've got to do something which they've never done before, is go over there and pull a Republican ballot, right? And that Republican lever, that's a big deal. So we have to just talk to them. They have to understand that our values, Republican values, conservative values, are good for them. And you look, we're not trying to persuade the far left, right?
Yeah, they're gone.
I mean,
if you're voting for JB Pritzker term 3, you're hopeless.
Right.
I don't even understand that.
Yeah, if you're a JB supporter, and you may even be a stronger one now, we're not trying to persuade you. We're trying to get to those people who said, I voted for JB last time, but look at the policies of Brandon Johnson and the Democrats and JB Pritzker.
Or maybe they didn't vote for JB Pritzker last time, but they couldn't vote for a Republican.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's another point. Yes, they want something different. And I've heard, we just have to be, what I like to say is we have to be persuadable, logical, reasonable in bringing them over. We can't be crazy aggressive. This is Illinois. We don't have enough Republicans here. We got to bring in independents and centrists. So let's be smart. Let's be logical. Let's be reasonable.
Ted, it seems to me like you're talking about numbers a lot. I mean, Illinois is famously, nationally known for being a financial mess. That sounds like to me what your focus as a candidate is to bring Illinois back to hopefully some fiscal sanity.
Yeah, I mean, this is my experience as business. My experience is helping. I was in Mexico for 6 years, working on their economy, and Poland for 9. Look, we should be a top 5 state for economic growth, for job creation, for wage growth, and we're not.
Can you do that as governor, though?
Well,
I mean, you may not have the legislature. What can you do?
Well, we have to start moving that way. So we need to push things that. Let's talk about culture change. And I like to tell the story about Mitch Daniels. He took over, and we could try to cut the budget by 5% in every department, but that's not change. That's just he put a penny. He saw all the state cars out there, and he said, God, there's so many out there. He put a penny on every tire, and he came back a week later and saw which cars weren't driven.
Oh my gosh.
And he sold them all. And it's like. Here's another cultural change.
I got pennies. They're in short supply right now, but let's go.
Yeah, let's get legislators to get rid of their pensions. We've got to change the mentality, and I think send a signal to the rest of the country that we want to grow again. Companies don't want to come here because they know that the leader doesn't care about finances, doesn't care about credit rating, doesn't care about how high taxes are. I'll change that now. Yes, I have to work with a supermajority of Democrats, but. That's the job. That's the fight. That's the battle, and I'll bring it because that's what I do.
What kind of authority does the governor have? Do we have a line item veto? Can you, as a governor, just say not doing that? And when the supermajority of Democrats in the General Assembly, I mean, if you're new to this conversation as an Illinois voter, I want you to understand that, like, the Republicans that are in the General Assembly, which is basically like the House and the Senate of the state of Illinois, they don't get the budget until hours before they pass it?
In midnight,
and they pass it in the middle of the night.
Right.
I mean, that's insane. Those are your tax dollars that they're spending. They're your tax dollars that they're going to try to raise right now. And with the supermajority of Democrats, they can do whatever they want. They don't even need to really notify the Republicans that they're doing it because the Republicans have no power. They have so many Democrats in the General Assembly that the Katie Stewarts of the world over in the 112th wait for the Democratic Party to say, oh, this is a purple vote. You should sit this one out. We don't need you. This is how the Democratic Party operates in the state of Illinois. Do you have line item veto power as the governor? You've obviously got veto power as the governor. What would you be willing to do?
Oh, yeah. I mean, first of all, look what happens today. Today, the supermajority Democrats, they get together, they do their thing, they keep the Republicans out, they pass it, and the governor, if it's something he wants highlighted, he'll celebrate it and make a big show. If it's something like the euthanasia bill, the assisted suicide bill that just came out, he did that in the quiet. But he still signed it, right? Yeah. So they do what they want, and there's no fanfare. As governor, of course, the veto power is huge, right? You make a big deal. I'm not going to do this. Override me if you want to, but I'm going to take it to the public. Listen, if you don't want tax hikes and they want to hike taxes, I'm vetoing it. If you don't like it and they override me, you take it up with them. Line item vetoes for sure. But I think a big part of the power is the executive power. The governor and the governor of the executive office run all the departments. So, you've seen what Trump has done really well. He's put powerful people and said, we're not going to do that, or we're going to do this. You create the battle. And I think we have to take the battle to the people. I think there's enough people out there who are ticked off that if we can take it to them, explain to them why we're fighting on their behalf, make it transparent, make it clear with the numbers, I think we can keep winning people over time. It's going to be a 4-year campaign. To make change.
Even more so, though, that's your willingness to push back against the supermajority of Democrats to take the state government of Illinois and give it back to the people and advocate for them. I mean, people are fleeing like crazy. We're a U-Haul company's dream. there will be opportunities for you. We're speaking with Ted Dabrowski here in studio. There will be opportunities for you to work with some common sense Democrats to maybe bring it in a little bit to say, okay, let's figure out some ways that we could see eye to eye here, that we could do something for the people of the state of Illinois, the taxpayer, the citizen. Would you be willing to work with Democrats? And do you think that that's something you could get done?
Oh, I do. I think there's a couple big issues that I think we can get it done. One is education, reading, literacy, and the other is the property taxes. So let me talk about education, right? People who know my work, and I've been researching on this, I'm going crazy that only 2% of black third graders in Decatur can read at grade level. 2%. That means 98% of the kids can't read at grade level. It's not that different in Peoria. It's not that different in Rockford, Waukegan, Cicero. We have a major problem on literacy. And look, I know we have fights and all that, but I will work with every Democrat, every Republican, every black, every Hispanic, you name it, whatever it is. We will obsess about literacy. Mississippi has passed a law that says we will not let kids go to the fourth grade if they can't read at grade level. Why don't we have that? Do we care about our kids or not?
Right.
And so I will work with them, and if they don't want to work with us, we'll expose them for not supporting literacy for poor kids who will never succeed if they can't read. Right? You can't have a republic if you can't read. You can't have a workforce if you can't read. We'll have more dependency, more crime. Let's champion the kids of Decatur. Let's champion the kids of Rockford. Let's champion the kids of Peoria. It doesn't matter where they are. And we have good examples in the state of places where they do it well, like in Aviston, like in Bartell. So we have some great, great stories of good public schools. But for the most part, we should be championing our kids.
Last question, Ted Dabrowski. You've got people listening right now all over southwestern Illinois. And then, of course, I know that a lot of people stream this show on the Odyssey app across the state of Illinois. Can you win in the primary? Can you beat JB Pritzker in the general?
So I can definitely win in the primary. I think I'm the only one who's put together the financial resources. I've raised money in Chicago from the financiers. I've raised money from downstate conservatives. I've raised money from Dick Uihlein. Dick Uihlein, the most conservative donor, was with Bailey, gave him $50 million last time. He's now with us. The Family Institute head, David Smith, was with Bailey, now with us. We've put together that. We've gotten great endorsements from the Wheeling Township, won that by 97% to 3%. We won just recently the Peoria County Republicans, got 2/3 of the vote there. So we are putting together the coalition of endorsements, of finances, and I've been doing the grassroots work for a long time, IPI and WirePoint. So that coalition is a coalition that's needed to beat Pritzker. And I just need to keep building my name ID.
Yeah.
Ran some great ads in the Bears-Rams game. Which has been fun. And
man, I've never said this before, but I was rooting for the Bears.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, well, man, that was so close. But but we got the coalition, so we can do that. And it's the same coalition. I'm half Polish, half Hispanic, which is the other big thing in Cook County. I can go to the Slavic community, that whole community that escaped from the Soviet Union and came here for freedom and opportunity. They understand my message, being half Polish. And then I'm also speaking to the Hispanics. I'm going to the Spanish churches, speaking in Spanish to them. It's a great thing to bring all kinds of people together that frankly nobody else can do.
Ted Dabrowski is his name, and my assessment of the campaign so far is this is a campaign that's being squarely led, starting from the head and pushed by the heart, which I think is something that it doesn't really matter. You look at the state of Illinois and you go, we need some common sense here. I know Ted Dabrowski has common sense. He's been sharing it with us here on the Annie Frey Show for over 10 years. Anytime you're down here, come get in the studio and let's have another conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me.
TedForIllinois.com. Learn more. Support him or your candidate of choice. Make your voice be heard. We'll be right back.